1912 to 1922 was a decade of tumultuous change across Ireland and throughout the world. From great social upheavals and a world war to the partition of Ireland, the events of that decade have an enduring legacy today. On Ulster Day, September the 28th, 1912, almost 500,000 people signed the Ulster Covenant, pledging their loyalty to Britain in protest against Home Rule. The Dublin lockout was a major industrial dispute between 20,000 workers and 300 employers, marking a watershed in Irish labour history. Following the outbreak of the First World War, men from across Ireland enlisted in the British Army. Over 200,000 took part in the fighting, most famously at Gallipoli and the Somme. With Britain preoccupied with war overseas, a coalition of Republican separatists staged an uprising in a bid to reclaim Ireland from British rule. The predominantly Dublin-based battle saw over 400 die as the Easter rebels were defeated and the leaders of the rising executed. Ulster men made large sacrifices at the Somme as they led the big push over the top on July the 1st, 1916. Advancing across no man's land, the 36th Ulster Division made great progress against the Germans, but over 5,500 were killed, wounded or taken prisoner. A convention under the leadership of British Prime Minister David Lloyd George met in Dublin to discuss how best to grant self-government to Ireland. Sinn Féin refused to take part, and the convention failed to reach an agreement. In 1918, the Representation of the People Act granted the vote to men over 21. Women over the age of 30 who owned property could also vote for the first time. The UK general election in December saw a rise in Sinn Féin support. The Irish Parliamentary Party lost almost all of their seats, with 73 going to Sinn Féin, who refused to sit in the British House of Commons. In 1919, Irish Republican separatists, now styling themselves as the Irish Republican Army, began armed conflict against the British authorities. The 2-year Anglo-Irish War of Independence led to over 1,300 deaths. As the conflict worsened, the British government sought to set up Home Rule parliaments in Belfast and Dublin. The island was partitioned and divided. 6 predominantly Protestant counties of Ulster became Northern Ireland. The remaining 26 counties would later become the Irish Free State. The decision to set up the Irish Free State as a result of the Anglo-Irish Treaty caused a split within republicanism. A pro-treaty force led by Michael Collins engaged in civil war with anti-treaty forces led by Eamon de Valera, costing the lives of almost 1,000 people. 1912 to 1922 was the decade that transformed life on these islands, defined our relationships and determined our present. How it shapes our future is up to us.